You have cancer. It's a phrase no one ever wants to hear, but this year alone, more than 1 million people, well more than 1 million people, men, women, and even children, will be diagnosed with having this terrible disease. Thousands will die from it. Thousands more will fight, and thanks to new research and treatments and the support of their family, friends, and the community, will become survivors. Good evening from WYMT Mountain News. I'm Brandon Robinson. Thanks for everyone who's watching us on the air and on our website, WYMT.com. Just like in any fight, you have to have a great support system, and that's what the American Cancer Society is. Tonight, we talked to a representative from ACS about the services they offer, the latest developments in the fight against cancer, and how you can help in that battle right here in your own community. That's coming up on Issues and Answers, the Mountain Edition.
Issues and Answers, the Mountain Edition, is sponsored by the City of Hazard. Come home to the mountains.
Roxanne Rose, she's a representative from the American Cancer Society. Thanks for joining us, Roxanne.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's get right into the meetup because we've got a lot to talk about. Tell us tonight about the American Cancer Society as a whole. What does it do?
Well, the American Cancer Society is the largest nonprofit organization that funds cancer research. We help people by celebrating, remembering, and fight back. Our goal is to obviously eradicate cancer and celebrate more birthdays.
All right. We've got some new statistics here we're going to talk about today. Usually in the past we've talked about relay, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the things that ACS offers, but I got my hands on a fairly recent study by the American Cancer Society for some of the things that when related to cancer that we're seeing with those statistics. So first, if we can pop up that first graphic there, this one talks about here the estimated new cancer cases in the United States this year alone. And as you'll see here on that graphic, basically we're looking at more than 800,000 men and women being diagnosed, new diagnosis this year alone. And some of those big ones there in men, prostate cancer, lung and bronchus cancer, and colon cancer, one of the top three. Also, urinary bladder cancer is on there. Melanoma is on there for men. And then for women on the other side, you've got breast cancer, lung cancer, colon cancer, uterine cancer, and thyroid cancer, top five on that side. And these are the national statistics, and as you and I were talking about before the show, they're a little bit different here in the mountains.
Absolutely. Well, first off, 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 3. That's a huge, staggering statistic.
That's right.
Another statistic that's included in that grouping is 1 in every 235 children will be diagnosed with cancer before their 21st birthday. And that is just outrageous. So approximately 168,000 new cancer cases will be diagnosed in 2015.
That's an amazing
1,600,000. So we're looking at a lot. And then about 589,000 people are expected to die from cancer in 2015, which again, it's too many people too fast and too soon. So which is why we do what we do to help, find a cure. We want a cure, obviously. Now, a big part of these statistics that you're looking at is in Kentucky alone, lung cancer is the #1 killer right now. Part of it has to do with the coal mines. People were miners for years, they have black lung. We have issues with smoking because tobacco was our biggest crop for a while. And it was a big part of life to go out and pick tobacco and so forth. So people just here are really, really struggling because they want to know how to beat cancer. And of course, we've had a decrease, right? So it's the decline, or I should say a rise in survival rates from lung cancer and all cancers.
That's right. And we're going to talk about some of those here in a little bit. But another graphic we have for you, and you were talking about some of these about the all-time. Let's show the risk graphic there for developing. I've kind of broke it down for men and women, and some of the big ones for you. Prostate cancer in men, 1 in 7.
Yes.
It's not as bad as the number you were talking about, the 1 in 3 earlier, but still
but that's a
rough
specific
number.
form. Right.
Exactly. So we're going to also see 1 in 13 in lung. I mean, that's a big number there. Colon, 1 in 21, so some big numbers there. That's on the men's side, and then on the women's side, breast, 1 in 8.
Yes.
That's a big number there. Lung cancer, 1 in 16, and colon cancer, 1 in 22. So again, it's just a big risk factor overall. And the good thing is, overall, it is getting better. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But it's the fact that those numbers to me are staggering.
Absolutely. It's scary for people.
Exactly, and it's the one thing now I think you can safely say and I hate to say this, but either you've been directly affected either by you having cancer or someone you know having cancer,
Unfortunately.
even in your immediate family, or someone maybe you work with, or somebody in your community, and you're part of the community. So it's amazing to me how it's affected all of us.
Absolutely. So when we're talking about statistics of people dying, we're losing about 1,600 people a day. 68 people in Kentucky every day are diagnosed with cancer on average. The numbers that you're talking about that you've got are as a whole, right? It embodies everything. We're not just talking specifically to Kentucky, but if you think about 68 people in your state that are going to be diagnosed with cancer this year, it really scary.
I mean, you think, oh, that's 68 within millions. It doesn't matter. That's 68 people. That could be your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, anybody. Could be right there. And a lot of folks like, oh, I've not had it in my family. It'll never happen. No, not the case at all.
No one is exempt, right?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter the age that you are. It doesn't matter where your economic background is or where you live geographically. Completely. I mean, there are increased risks in different communities for sure.
Right.
But in general, anyone can be hit. We just had a child last year diagnosed. She was 3 months old, diagnosed, and we lost her within a week of being diagnosed. 3 months old, what can she be exposed to? And people, want answers, and that's what our researchers are trying to find, those answers.
Exactly. And going on to another statistic first, before we get into some of the early detection and treatments that you can get through American Cancer Society and how it helps you in general. Here's the good news on this. 5-year, this is the trend in 5-year relative cancer survival rates. Okay, and we love to use that word, survivors.
Absolutely.
That's a big one. And here's some interesting numbers here. This is from this 2015 report, but it is also broken down in spans of years. So I took the furthest back years on the graphic you're seeing right there on the screen, 1975 to 1977, and then it goes out to 2004 to 2010. So you can see right there on that graphic in breast cancer, which is primarily for women, but men can have breast cancer too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So primarily women, but in that one, it was 75% survival rate in 1975 to 77. It's up to 91 between 2004 and 2010. So that's a huge increase, and that's all thanks to research and new treatments that are coming out.
Absolutely.
The next one, colon, from 51% in 75 and through 77 up to 65%. And that may not seem to a mathematician or a number cruncher that big of an increase, but it's an increase. We're going in the right direction with that. And the biggest one that I wanted to mention is at the bottom there, the prostate. Again, typically, found in men, obviously, but from 68% in 75 through 77 to near 100%. So
near.
Huge. And we never want to say 100% because
No.
until we get that vaccine, we're all giving it birth to keep us from getting cancer. We don't want to, but near 100%. So that's amazing numbers. And cancer is treatable.
Absolutely.
It's treatable, and that's the one thing that you have to remember. So speaking of treatment, let's talk about early detection.
Well, first and foremost, always go with what your doctor says. Your doctor is going to make recommendations on that. But if you have a family history of any specific form of cancer, then odds are you will need to get earlier screening. So don't wait till you're 40 if your family has breast cancer to get your first mammogram. Talk to your doctor and find out what he recommends. Same thing with any of the other types of cancer. If it's something that runs in your family, then that's something that you definitely want to be checked out for. You don't want to wait till it's too late, because early detection is the key to treatment and being cured and becoming one of our survivors.
That's right. And I've done Relay for Life, and if you know me, I'm a huge supporter of Relay for Life. Done it for many, many years. You and I've done it for about 3 years now.
Yes,
3 years.
3.
And just talking to people. The big thing too, of course, you want to go with your doctor, but listen to your own body. Your body tells you when something's wrong.
It does,
And,
but not always.
Exactly, not always. But sometimes, if you get those urges, don't put off going to the doctor, because you never know what might happen. Especially, and the biggest thing that always comes to my mind when you talk about breast cancer is if you feel the lumps. If you're doing your self-exam.
Yes.
So that's always a good key. And again, often should you do, especially if you have a history and you get to a certain age, you should have those screenings often.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
They recommend yearly after you become 40 for breast cancer. And it's important to do that, but again, don't just say, well, I've already done it in a year, I found a lump, I'll wait till next year.
Right.
Do it now. If you find something or an issue, or you have any of the signs or symptoms of changes in your breast, then you want to make sure that you go get checked.
That's right. And a lot of folks may think, oh, I have to go to the city, I have to go to Lexington or Louisville or Cincinnati to see a doctor. That's not the case at all. We have cancer doctors right here in the mountains.
We sure do.
Exactly. There's
On several levels.
Several places. I mean, and you've got Hazard has got a big cancer center, and then there's Pikeville. It's got a big. I mean, there's several places right here at home where you don't have to travel. You can stay right here at home and see doctors, and always best to do that sooner rather than later.
Right, and we have a really good facility that I love, and it's in London. We also have treatment center that's in Harlan. So they don't have to go forever
Exactly.
and really far away. The most important part is early detection, is to get that screening and to get tested. So if you have an issue and something's different, then you need to definitely go. Don't wait, even if it's just your primary care physician, and they'll give you a referral out if they feel like you need to go further.
Exactly. And the biggest thing now, of course, new treatments are happening every day, and we don't know all of those because there's so much research that I can't even keep up with all of it in the news business, and I try to kind of stay on top of it. But new treatments are happening every single day.
Absolutely, as a result of research that we fund in large part. You know, the American Cancer Society has funded 47 researchers that went on to win the Nobel Prize. So we have the people, we have the people that have the knowledge to work on this and to continue to do the research. But what we need to do is be able to fund them. So every year there are researchers who are requesting funds that go unfunded because we just simply don't have enough money to go around.
Right.
Now, the American Cancer Society has put over $4 billion into research since its inception. We are 101 years old, but 70 years ago is when the research portion of us started.
Right.
And $4 billion is a lot of money. And that's not subsidized by the government. That is money we fundraise, which is the primary source of Relay. Why we talk about Relay for Life
Right.
is it's the, the baby, the primary fundraiser for the American Cancer Society
Exactly.
in order to fund those researchers.
And the biggest thing, I think you touched on this, but I just want to make sure this gets out. The American Cancer Society is the largest group in the whole country for this. For that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so absolutely great organization. Talk about some of the programs that ACS offers.
Wow. So first off, I want to mention that programs are completely never charged to our cancer patients. They're free, right? So we fundraise for that, right? So we have, of course, the Hope Lodge, which is near and dear to my heart. We have one in Lexington. And cancer patients can stay at the Hope Lodge. All they have to have is a diagnosis of cancer and have to have treatment more than 40 miles from their home and a recommendation from their doctor. That's it. There's no other requirements. As long as we have a room, they can stay. And it's a room for a caregiver as well as the patient itself. And the Hope Lodge has a wonderful facility. They have a kitchen where the people can cook their own meals if they choose to. But groups come out all the time. Church groups come out, students come out, and they will make dinner for the survivors, meet with the survivors, and even come out and entertain them. We've had singers come, so it's pretty awesome. And that's one that's near and dear to my heart. We also have the 1-800 number, which is 1-800-227-2345. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. If you have a question, or you're a caregiver, or you're a survivor, or even if you're just a person who has a question about cancer, give us a call. We take about 358,000 calls every year, which is a lot of calls, right? So call us now, we'll help, you know. We also have the website, which is cancer.org, and it's, again, 365 days a year. Anyone can access it, 2 in the morning. If you have a question, you can definitely go look it up. We have the Cancer Survivor Network that we work with. We have Road to Recovery, which is an amazing program that we're really trying to get underway, and we need volunteers. So if you want to volunteer for something, this is it. Volunteers volunteer and donate their time and their gas. They go to a cancer patient's home, pick them up, take them to treatment, and either wait for them or come back and pick them up and take them home. Because the worst thing to have to worry about is how you're going to get to treatment.
Right.
Everyone needs to go. And in our area, we know transportation's a big issue. So just getting everyone to go all the way through their treatments, I mean, sometimes they go to the first few, but then they aren't able to get to the last ones, or they skip a couple. We don't want that to happen. So Road to Recovery is always looking for volunteers who want to help with that. And so they can call that 1-800 number, 1-800-227-2345, and register for that. And we'd love to get them into that. We also do a Good Feel Better program, which is completely free, and it really helps female patients. You know, when you look good, you automatically feel better.
Right.
Well, when you're going through cancer treatment, whether it's chemo or radiation, maybe your hair falls out, or your eyebrows fall out, and you need help. So you want someone to teach you how to take care of that, new skin, because everything in your body changes, right? You're putting the chemicals in, or the radiation, and you and I take for granted every morning. We get up and we have eyebrows.
Right.
Right. But oftentimes a cancer patient loses them. So in the Look Good, Feel Better program, there is a licensed cosmetologist that teaches them how to take care of their new skin and how to draw on eyebrows and make them even and make them feel like they're themselves.
Exactly.
The American Cancer Society provides gifts, we call them gifts, of either turbans or hats or bras or wigs to cancer patients at no charge. All they have to do is reach out to their local office, and if they have a need, we'll help them. And the idea is that if you continue your treatment and you go from start to finish, and you are feeling good about yourself, you're going to continue to do better. And people who get down and depressed tend to not respond as well.
Right, exactly. And, that's scientifically proven that if you look good, you feel better. Because we see stories all the time on the news, and we read a lot of stories on the news about people who donate things like American Cancer Society does. I've even seen a large increase here lately, and I know this is something you all don't do, but just kind of going back to that, of tattoos that are helping people, especially with reconstruction when they have to have the breast cancer surgeries. So even just a little thing like that can make a real big difference, and it's a great program that's available right here in the mountains.
Well, and the tattoo is definitely refer to your doctor, because
right, but
that's usually over scar tissue sometimes. And
exactly.
I always say recommend to talk to your doctor about that.
Doctor knows
thing.
best,
Yes.
but you could at least point them in the right direction for where to go. But it's just going back. It doesn't take much to make somebody who's been that sick just to feel a little bit better.
Absolutely, and that's what that Look Good, Feel Better program is designed to do. The cancer patients are given a free makeup kit that's donated by the cosmetics industry. We're not supporting any one specific type of makeup or any company. It's just a kit that helps them to get to look better and feel better.
Exactly.
We also have other programs that they're really important to talk about. Like we have smoking cessation. So if someone's interested in trying to stop smoking, give us a call. We'll find resources and near you so that you can stop smoking, because again, that's one of those big killers here, and we want to help everybody do that. We also have programs that where cancer patients, of breast cancer specifically, are teamed up with other breast cancer patients, and they're usually over 2 years they've been a survivor and been through their treatments or what have you, and they're able to talk to someone on their level who's going through the same thing they're going. So that support system is really important, and it's someone that you're hearing like a third party. It's not your mom giving you advice. It's
Right.
not your sister. It's someone who's already been there and done that.
Exactly. And full disclosure, I mean, just like we've talked about all the time, I've had family members myself who have had cancer, and the Hope Lodge would have been fantastic. My mom had brain cancer back in the 90s, and American Cancer Society was good about putting her up. At that time, they put them up in a hotel because they didn't have the Hope Lodge, but the Hope Lodge would have been fantastic. I know a lot of relay teams will gather up supplies.
Donations, yes.
Donations, I think that was what I was
That's
looking for. Donations like paper towels and toilet, but just to take up there, because every little bit helps. It's such a great program that I wish that Mom would have had access to, and a lot of other folks as well. But it's so great now to see, and Hope Lodges seem like they're springing up everywhere now.
We have 32 fully functioning, and we're building one right now in Mississippi. So
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Relay for Life. That's the big one.
Yay.
That's kind of where all the money gets into the American, or at least a lot of the money gets into the American Cancer Society.
It is our signature fundraising event for the American Cancer Society, and it's Relay for Life. In 1985, Dr. Gordy Klatt, one man, wanted to take up the fight and raise money because he had a friend who had cancer. And so he began this worldwide movement, which I'm sure he never dreamt that it would become that wonderful movement that it is. And he spent 24 hours walking, running, and jogging around a track and raised $27,000. That became like our pillar, right, for the Relay for Life movement. And now we're in over 20 countries. We're all across the nation. We do 5,200 Relay for Life events in the United States. So it's really awesome. And a friend of ours took a mission trip, and she went to Africa, and lo and behold, she was taking a picture in the marketplace, and there's a gentleman wearing a Relay for Life shirt in Africa. So
it's really everywhere.
It is everywhere, because cancer reaches everyone, right? And so with the Relay for Life event, the idea is to celebrate our survivors, of course, and our victories over cancer. It's to remember those that have been taken too soon, which is just something that is unfortunate. And then, of course, a call to action to fight back against this disease. It takes so much from so many. And I think that people don't realize, maybe no one in your family directly has been touched right now, but they know somebody who has. And more it's becoming prevalent in the school system. We have more and more children who are diagnosed with cancer every year. And that is a struggle and a battle that we really want to fight and win. And so with the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life, we have a huge event. Now, you want to talk about the event now? Are we ready?
Go ahead.
Right on. So you can join a team. Just go to relayforlife.org and look for one in your community. Join a team, form a team. You can become a sponsor. You can just come out and attend. And if you're a survivor, for sure, come out, because we make sure we celebrate you and your successes. Every cancer survivor is provided a free t-shirt. It says Survivor on the back, Relay for Life on the front. And we have different types of ceremonies to celebrate their successes. In addition to that, we remember those that have lost the battle to cancer with our Luminaria ceremony, and that also is there to honor those that are survivors. So the Luminaria ceremony are basically a nice bag, and it has a candle in. We light them after dark, of course, and we line the track with those. And we do take a silent lap in honor of those who have lost the battle, and remembering those that are still fighting and those that have been recently diagnosed. I do want to mention that you are a cancer survivor from the minute you hear those dreadful words, you have cancer.
That's right.
I think people don't understand that. I met a gal, wonderful woman, she was helping with our event, and we started talking, and she's like, oh, I'm not a survivor. I had cancer 25 years ago. I'm like, honey, you're a survivor.
Absolutely.
You're an amazing survivor. And so she was like, well, I never thought of it that way because it was so long ago. But I'm like, from the moment of diagnosis, you're a survivor, and we want to celebrate that. And a big part of the Relay for Life is the camaraderie that you get from being with people who are going through like situations or have had family members that they've lost. But we turn it into a party, right? So we fundraise all year, and at the event itself, each team sets up what we call a tent, which is more like a canopy.
Right.
And some events go overnight, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. One here in Perry County goes for 18 hours. They're diehard awesome people. And then some of the events go from noon to midnight. So it just depends on that community, because Relay for Life is completely community driven.
Right.
The committee or the leadership team in that area decides what's best for their event in their community. Not every single event has the exact same attributes to it, but we have the same basics. So we have an opening ceremony, we have a survivor ceremony, we have a luminaria ceremony, we have a closing ceremony.
Right.
Most of them include local talent, which is amazing. They come out and volunteer their time. We also have games and activities for everybody on every level. So we have games and activities specifically for our survivors. We have some that include children, and everyone in the community is welcome to come. You don't have to be a survivor to go to a relay event and enjoy it.
That's right, and I've always compared it to a community block party. It's basically what it is. And if you go out to a relay around the mountains, you'll probably find me hopping around at some point, because I try to help out with as many Relay for Life events as I can every year. But I tell you, it's amazing how that, like you were talking about camaraderie, it really is. And like you said, come out to one. I mean, we are running promos right now here on WYMT that tells you when and where these events are. You'll see those from time to time running throughout the day and even tonight on WYMT. So check that out, or you can get in contact with us. You know, if you need, I can find out when the dates are. I've got a big list. I can refer you.
I've given you that.
Exactly, Roxanne, hook me up with that one. But it's a great event, and it's amazing. I tell you, one of the things that always has touched me is the solemn and the real, how much is put into the luminary ceremony, and how much you can almost feel the love and the outpouring because of the fact that all these people have dealt with the same thing.
Yes. And the best part about that is, if you have a need to cry at the luminary ceremony, no one's like judging you.
Oh, absolutely
They're
not.
crying with you. They're there to help you and support you too. And so that makes it amazing. Another thing is, and this is the simplest way to put it, Relay for Life cannot be explained. It must be experienced. And between now and the end of June, there's at least one event in your community going
Almost
on.
every week.
Almost every weekend.
Yeah, so exactly. Check those out. Also, some of them even go up into the fall.
They do. We have some fall events.
Exactly. So always something to check out this time of year. Tell me, a lot of folks ask me, because they kind of see me out and about, and they may not be able to, they may not see you all as much as community reps, but where does the money go? That's what a lot of folks always ask me. Where does the money that they fundraise for Relay go?
That's important, and it's important to know where your donation dollars are going. You should question for any organization that you are donating to where that money goes. So 72 cents of every single dollar that we raise goes straight to research. Research is important, and that's what our primary goal is. 21 cents goes to patient services, education, advocacy, and fundraising. And then 7 cents of every dollar goes to overhead, because you always have expenses.
Right.
But it's very, very low. If you can compare us to any of the other fundraising organizations out there and nonprofits, you will see that we are top of the line. And we've never failed an audit. We're always audited. People can look for this information on cancer.org. It's all right there for you. We're very transparent. But it is important to know that. So when we're talking about patient services, we may go to a school and speak to a group. The other day we were speaking at the Chamber of Commerce. We do that all the time. That's part of our education program. We do have Relay Field Day and Relay Recess that is geared toward children. They're completely free programs that the schools can utilize. All they have to do is go to relayrecess.org or relayfieldday.org. And there's programs and based on smoking cessation and of course staying away from tobacco safety, sun safety, education as far as keeping yourself fit and using exercise, because that's a preventative path as well. And we also it talks about nutrition, because nutrition is very important in the fight against cancer for not getting it. So those things are covered, and there's lesson plans for teachers they can print right off and use right off the website. People can go to the website and look that up too and just get information, anyone. So those are part of the programs and education that we do. Today's children will be tomorrow's cancer patients if we don't educate them. That's the bottom line. And we don't want that to happen. So if you are aware of what you're eating and not just eating the junk food, then you need to make sure that you are educated all the time. And we really want to focus on that in our areas.
That's right. So about a little less than 2 minutes left. Kind of give us some closing thoughts about the benefits of American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Tie it all together for us.
The most important thing to think about when you're thinking of the American Cancer Society is to, if you've been diagnosed, to call right away. Call the 1-800 number, 1-800-227-2345, and let us know. They're going to ask you personal information, but they're able to connect you with resources in your community that'll help you out. And the other thing is to make sure that you come out to an event. Come out to a Relay for Life event, celebrate, remember, and fight back with us.
That's right, exactly. And we appreciate you coming on out here today, and a lot of great information. And like you said, cancer.org, always available there.
Yes.
And the 1-800 number, give that one more time.
1-800-227-2345. So thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming out, Roxanne. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. We appreciate it as always. We'll see you next time right here on Issues and Answers, the Mountain Edition.